Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Beekeeping. My name is Kevin McMahon. It's a good morning here. It's probably 30 degrees out on April 27th, somewhere around there. And spring has finally sprung around here, and our snow is gone. But I just wanted to talk to you today a little bit about an issue that had cropped up. I was buying bee boxes and for a while, and then I started making my own and using the existing bee boxes and lids and bases as a template. And I just wanted to share with you some of the issues that crept up on me when I started doing this. Now, as you can see, I've been kind of busy here. This past winter, I guess you could say, or late winter, early spring, whatever. I've been getting some nukes ready and building some double nukes and having some made for me. And I ordered some nukes from a couple of different places. And this is one of the first issues that I ran into here. These are 5-frame nukes right here that I ordered from. These were from Man Lake. These were from Humble Abodes right here. And it's funny. I ordered these as kits. These nukes from Humble Abodes, put them together, and then I ordered just boxes from Man Lake because they were cheaper. The boxes were cheaper at Man Lake, and you order a certain number, and you get free shipping, blah blah blah. So I'm one of those frugal type guys. So I went ahead and ordered them, and lo and behold, I kind of ran into an issue, and that I was not expecting as a new beekeeper. This is my second year, but you're still always learning about this. But manufacturers don't build them all the same size, which is a little odd. You figure a 5-frame nuke would be a standard size, a frame fits in it, no problem. Now these are the ones that I got originally, and you can kind of see this is, well, let's go down here. But it's about 9¼ inches wide, right, for a 5-frame. Well, this is the Man Lake one, and now we're at 9 5/8. So, as you can see right off the bat, let's take this off, and see what we can do here. You try to match, put box on another one on a top, and all of a sudden you've got a 1/2 inch gap on the top, and I just about floored me when I learned that. Now, the funny thing is that both nukes will only fit 5 frames. Humble Abodes 5 frames, and it fits, very nicely, not too snug. But the difference being the Man Lake ones, you can put 5-frame nukes, and you can also fit a frame feeder in, where with the Humble Abodes, the frame feeder is just a little bit wider than a frame, which I didn't realize, and it'll take 4 frames, but that 5th one, you can get it in there, but you'll never get any frames out. It isn't easy to pick the frames out, so that's one thing I did notice. And then what you also run into is that if you start using one or the other as a template to build your own, well, you can run into some problems as well, because obviously they don't mix and match very well. So you got to pick one style and go with it, and it's just something that you're going to run into. Now, the Humble Abodes ones, on their website, they did not specify a size. They just said 5-frame nukes. Man Lake, however, you know, and I didn't really pay attention to it. They gave the dimensions of it, but you know, this is just dimensions. I didn't really give it much thought, but they at least gave the dimensions so you'll know ahead of time. So I'm just giving you forewarning. Now here's another issue that I ran into, and I started making my own. Sorry for my dogs, but they I got a puppy, and they won't shut up. Anyways, okay, getting back to this, this is another issue that I ran into. I have a guy that I had locally that builds bee boxes, and I had ordered a couple last year from him, and he does a fine job on it. And so this year I ordered a double nuke from him, and he ended up selling me his used one that he had, and I saw it beforehand, and I know the guy, so it's not a big deal. And so he sold me that, and I asked him to build me another one. And so he did. So he built me another one, and then I also asked him to build these just another two boxes for me. And this was earlier this year, which he did. And then it was kind of funny because I decided, hey, this is no problem. I can build my own. So I kind of grabbed one of his for, as a template, and started doing it. And the funny thing is because I built all these boxes over here, and so I needed some extra lids and bottoms and whatnot. And the funny thing is that his old ones, now you can see the lid is 18 1/4, which is standard, and it's also, let's see here, 22 inches long by 18 1/4 wide. Well, that's not a problem, except I had him build me another one, and this top was 19 inches, which was kind of funny. And then the two boxes that I had him build were 18 1/2, and not only was it wider, it's also longer. He's got them at now he's got them at 23 instead of 22. And I wasn't really paying attention when I picked them up. I didn't even look on. I loaded them in my truck, set them down, and I haven't really touched them too much at all, except I did paint them up a little bit. But when I started copying his design, I guess you could say, actually, yeah, this is the one he made. This is the one I made. I of course picked the one that was 19 inches to copy, and as I was doing it, when I set it on my box, I was looking at it, I'm like, why is this thing so wide? I mean, it is super wide, and it's too long. I mean, it telescopes way out. It's like, why does it do that? It doesn't need to do that. And so I came back and I started doing the measurements, and he went from 18 1/4 to 18 1/2 to 19. And this is all the same guy doing it. Now, funny thing is that he's a friend of mine. He's also president of our bee club, and so I'm going to have to chide him a little bit, give him a little grief about why he made 3 different sizes of his tops. And of course, Murphy's Law being as it is, I picked the wrong one to copy, because I really like this one, because as you can see, it fits very nicely, and it slides a little bit, which gives a little bit of room for airflow, but it's not anything like this, which has, wasps can build nests in there. I mean, not that they would, but I'm just saying, that's a lot of space in there, So anyways, I just wanted to make everybody aware that Not everything is built the same, and to pay attention where you order, who you order it from, and to try to get uniform equipment, because you'll be stacking boxes and come to the realization, like I said, that I can't have this. This isn't working for me. You know, that definitely doesn't work. So I ended up having to, what I ended up doing, because these were boxes, I ended up just building, making bottoms for them, and turning these into just one box, 5-frame nukes, instead of just spare boxes that I stacked up on top of my other kits. So I'm going to have to build more boxes to stack up on these. So I just wanted to put that out to you. Also, another thing that I ran into with these, I just wanted to talk a little bit about materials. And I used some different materials for different things, just to try to experiment a little bit. Now, for these 4-frame nukes that I built, I used 1x12 pine, and warps really bad, which, you know, I don't even know what to deal with that. But the bottom is what, and the tops is what I really ran into. You can see right here how bowed this piece is. Now that actually bowed after I put it together, and it's like a rocking chair now. Now that's hardwood, or not, well, it's pine, and it warped really bad on me, even though it was painted. Got snowy, got wet, and just warped, and so everything kind of rocks a little bit. And I had another one that I did the same thing to right there. I actually put another screw through it, and when I put the screw through it to try to draw it back, you can kind of see right there where it split. Try to get it to draw back. And so I went and I bought a sheet of 3/4 inch CDX, and that's very difficult, very heavy for one man to manipulate a 4x8 sheet. If you can get it in 4x4, all the better. But I bought, you know, 1/2 inch CDX, and the reason I have the blocks on there is, even though I made these migratory covers, and I also put a shim, a 3/8 inch shim on the inside, they also warped really bad. They bowed, they arced like that. So that's why I've got 30-pound blocks on each one to try to push that back down. You know, live and learn. After I did that, I went and bought some 3/4 inch BX plywood, which worked a whole lot better. It's a whole lot straighter, more expensive. It's $40 a sheet versus I think the CDX was $29 a sheet. You know, this is an expensive hobby we have. So anyways, that is, as they say, is that. So 3 things that you want to pay attention to is the uniformity at which you get your boxes and materials, and make sure that the boxes are all the same size. And then when you start, if you do any of your own work and you use something that you have as a template, make sure that that the template is something you do want to copy, and not something that was built a little off or a little wrong. Now these top covers, while large, will work. It's just overkill, and I really, you know, it just really was not needed. And not only that, my coil, as you can see, my coil aluminum was only so wide. It was 20 inches wide when I bought it. So I only had 1/2 inch on each side to play with, whereas if I had built these at 18 1/4 rather than 19, I'd have 3/4 of an inch on each side. to play with. So rather than well, actually I'd have more than that. I'd have almost an inch on each side, 7/8 of an inch on each side to play with. So you know, just little things that you learn, you live and learn about. Yeah, the CDX plywood, for trying to find the right plywood that works. Not a lot of people are going to the Advantech. It's a flooring type. It's got some epoxy resins. I think actually this is Advantech right here. It's the lid. This lid is made out of Advantech. Now the downside to using any kind of plywood or particle board is that, well, you can't rabbet joint these boards. They're all meant for butt joints. So your sides and your rails will all have to be, you know, pine hardboard. But you know, try to get an exterior grade like a BX. It's sanded on one side, which makes it nicer. That's what I used. The one good thing that came out of this is I made these bottoms here for my nukes, and I dadoed slots in and whatnot. And this is that 3/4 BX, and like I said, it's so firm, so flat and level. It really works out well. 3/4 inch. For my tops, I was using 1/2 inch. Let's see if I don't have a top handy. Well, here, this is a top right here. I used 1/2 inch for my top, and these are the 4-frame nukes that I have that I'm going to be working with this year. They're double nukes is really what they are, and I'm going to have let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8 of them for wintering. My nukes, you know, over winter to create bees, to make more bees. That's for next year, to repopulate hives that died out, that I lose over the winter, because I'm kind of tired of pulling out the credit card and buying more bees every year. This is getting to be beyond ridiculous. So attempting something new this year, and we'll see how it goes. This is actually I'm gonna have to build a top for this, because this is my starter box for grafting. So this is my vented bottom for grafting. This will be my the starter colony. So, you know, you put your little dish of water with a sponge in it, so because you're sealing these bees up for 2 days, and they're not going to be leaving, so it's well ventilated. It's ventilated on the bottom, and so that's going to be for my starter colonies for my grafts. So another project for this spring, making queens. And then today I'm going to be making some inner covers. This is the inner cover that my I guess you could call him my mentor or whatever made, and I don't like this one, as a matter of fact, because it doesn't give the bees any bee space. It doesn't have any space here, so I want this double wide so that the bees can, you know, use the space above the frames a little bit, and because if I flip this over, then the entrance is on the wrong side. So I want the entrance up so that I can cover these up at certain times, so I don't have any bees coming in from the outside to rob my hive or anything like that. If I flip it over, then they could easily access the hive. But in the winter I can flip this over if I have that entrance like that, that's going to be their upper entrance for the winter, for spring defecation, I guess you can call it. Anyways, another project was to drill all the hives, all my nukes, and put feeder holes in there and plugs. So got that done, most of them anyways. It's gonna be a process getting bees here in the next week. So I'm rushing to get everything done, and things just take a long time. It took me well, it took me 8 hours to build 2 covers and 2 bottoms yesterday, you know, because I've never done it before. So it was kind of a learning process for me, plus changing out blades from dado to standard on my table saw and whatnot. But anyways, I just wanted to show you the trials and tribulations of being a newer beekeeper, and what to watch out for when you're buying equipment or making your own equipment. And I hope it helped. Until next time, happy beekeeping.